Joining us now is Sheitan Atigari with stories trending around the world. Hello, Sheitan. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. I almost didn't want that last interview to end. We could have just continued till 11 o'clock.
Sheitan, they're not watching you. They're not watching you. So what are you doing here?
In Edo State.
In Edo State, yeah.
Well, good morning to you, our viewers. And here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. Starting here in Nigeria, a group of aggrieved women in the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, has accused President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of abandoning and refusing to appoint any of them after working tirelessly for his election victory in 2023. The group, under the auspices of the defunct APC Women Campaign Council, said despite contributing significantly to the winning vote for the president, he has in the last year and 4 months in office relegated them in his appointments, which they say has been badly skewed in favor of men. The APC women said the president has failed to keep the promise he made to them to increase the inclusion of women to at least 35% in line with the 2006 National Gender Policy. The APC women also said that Tinubu used and dumped them for persons who did little or nothing for his victory, stressing that in terms of gender inclusivity, the president had performed woefully and they feel strongly shortchanged about the turn of events. Let's have a listen.
We cannot allow any abandonment of these women. This class of Nigerians avails themselves through various groups and associations to galvanize the support for the actualization of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Vice President Kashim Shettima aspiration. Why must these women not be appointed? We worked for the APC. We went all out for the party and the presidential candidates. What is our sin? We are not happy with the way things are going, especially as Baba has taken action that seemingly jeopardizes inclusivity. We have to cry out. The defunct APC Women Campaign Council has the requisite expertise in our women and in all fields. They abound amongst our women to salvage this country. Mr. President, assess them. Appoint and deploy them for national benefits.
Looks like the APC women are not happy with the president. They don't feel as if they are getting the promises that were made to them during his campaign. I want to start with Ayo because, you know, women, let's talk about this.
woman to woman, and
yes.
All the women in those states, I especially hail you who are watching us currently. But let me, jokes apart, she's made a good point in terms of, because let me even say what the president said during his campaign. He had said that 35% of his appointments would be female, so he would reflect that at least in his cabinet. Unfortunately, this hasn't been the case. The APC Women's Wing had come out to say that only 12% of his appointments have actually been have favored women. We're not saying that appointments should be made based on it should be first made based on competence. However, the point is that there are men and women who are competent. And in previous years, we have seen women marginalized in many instances. Only when it's time for election, then we have a vibrant women's week or women's week come forward and push their votes. Who do they go to when it's time for votes? The market women. We go when it's time to push an agenda, the market women. When it's time to put, to make decisions or put in positions of power, then we don't see women. We see mainly men. If you look at the FEC meeting, the Federal Executive Council meeting, it is bustling with testosterone, and we need more women in power. We look at the Senate, we look at the House of Representatives, we see an underrepresentation of women. Nigeria's population is 50% women and men. In fact, in some instances, it is viewed that women are more in terms of our numbers. Women can hold these positions. We need to balance the equation. It makes economic sense to have half of your population represented in government, and I'm hoping that this would be a wake-up call for this administration. He promised, let him deliver.
All right, then, Dr. Ruben, I'd like to hear from you.
Okay, see, this is about inclusion.
Yes.
This is about women empowerment, dating back to the Beijing Conference 1995, about the need to center women properly in politics, in affirmative contests. Now, in 2006, the Nigerian government came up with what they call the National Gender Policy. That National Gender Policy prescribes 35% representation of women in, political positions. But that policy has not been enforced. In 2022, the Court of Justice Donatus Okorowo, an Abuja Federal High Court, enforced that policy that, look, the Nigerian government must respect what the law says. About 100 lobby groups, in civil society, including Yaga Africa, including World Org, about 100 of them, I can't list all of them, went to court and secured that victory. In 2023, I think the Court of Justice Nyangokoro also, upheld that particular ruling when the Nigerian government ironically went on appeal in that particular matter. But now, you have APC women saying, if we're good enough to vote and campaign, we are also good enough to be given positions. They say President Tinubu has done up to 12%. Over the years, we've had President Obasanjo, encouraging women. We've had President Jonathan encouraging women. But Nigerian women are saying it is not enough in terms of gender inclusion. So they have a good case at the level of principle. I'm sure that President Tinubu will listen to them. If he has done 12%, they are saying let him even do about 18%. The caveat to add is that the women who want these political positions, public appointments, should be women of quality, not the ones that stole palliative items and only got rewarded with a public appointment. The woman who led this group is saying that, look, there are women who are very capable. So the women we expect are capable, competent, appointable women, so that we can have a situation as they do in South Africa, as they have in Zambia, as they do in Malawi, as they do in Senegal, where you have, quality representation of women in politics. So at the level of principle, I think they have a point.
All right, then. Let's go to our next story, and then we'll start with you, Rufai, for the comments. Abike Dabiri-Erewa, chair of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, has disclosed the identity of a Canada-based woman, Amaka Patience Sumberger, who allegedly threatened to kill fellow Nigerians living in the country. In a viral video, Sumberger made tribalistic remarks during a virtual TikTok meeting that had slightly over 100 people in attendance, vowing to harm Yoruba and Benin people by poisoning them. Sumberger, who is a resident of Ontario, Canada, claimed her comments were in response to perceived hate against the Igbo people. The video has since sparked widespread outrage, with many calling for her arrest and prosecution. Let's take a look before we take some reactions from social media.
I go dey put am for all una food.
Sniper.
All una food for if I go work tomorrow now, I go put am for Yoruba people food. Go tell government, oh yeah, I dey Canada, I dey Ontario. Oh yeah, hurry up. Hurry, fast. I go put Otapia, I go put Ogbomosho, everything for inside una food. Una go dey hear small. Yoruba don die yo. Bini don peme yo. Una go dey hear am. Na me talk am. I want making the Igbo get that heart of wickedness. Una too dey quiet. Una too dey cool. Enough. It's enough. If you have a means of buying them, buy them.
Okay, let's take some tweets. The first one there, of course, is from Abike Dabiri herself, where she put out the picture saying this is the picture of the lady behind the voice, as she has deleted her TikTok account, and a group of Nigerians in Canada are reporting her to the relevant authorities. Let's go to the next tweet there from Alhaji. He says, good thing her face is on the internet and should face whatever charges in due time. But what about the Lagospedia handler? Does he not incite violence and death threats on Igbos and Hausas in Lagos, or is his case not worth much attention? And the last tweet there reads, the hate is unprecedented from all sides. It's a spillover from the last elections in in Nigeria, mostly in Lagos, that people were denied access to exercise their civil duties. You've planted this seed that has spread to Europe, America, and Blip are toiling that same line now. Now, I thought it was just important to, first off, I have friends from all tribes, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, and I love them dearly. This is not about who is right or who is wrong. It's about identifying that we have an issue when it comes to tribal matters. And this woman, of course, has taken it too far. Rufai, let's start with you.
Very sad. And I think somebody also from the National Assembly also wrote a letter, to the Canadian authorities as regards this.
You can just pull that up.
And FGIdentifies has also spoken about this, but very sad. You see, we can't build a country with this level of bigotry, and I totally condemn what this woman has done, just like I condemn other people inciting violence in all ramifications. You cannot build a country this way. I keep telling people, our common enemies are not our Yoruba brothers or Igbo brothers or Hausa brothers. They are the politicians that bring about bad leadership, and because they have nothing to say to us about successes and achievements, they divide us. We must have a society where we can live beyond all of this and stop all this ethnic rhetoric. And I will quickly tell a story. When South Africa was under so much tension because of the killing of Chris Hani in '93, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was famous to have made a concession speech where he reminded South Africans of the fact that Chris Hani was killed by a white person, but it was another white person that alerted them to the fact that Chris Hani had been killed. So we need not to go against one another. We need to stay together and be firm. Yorubas, Igbos, Hausas, everywhere in the world live together in peace and harmony. That woman should be found out. And I must say, she's not a representation of the Igbo people. Just like people like Lagos PD are not a representation of the Nigerian people. They are just very, very bad people within their own mindset that needs to be told that what they are doing is wrong.
Okay, Dr. Abasi.
Well, the thing to add is the position taken by the House of Representatives, a letter signed by Representative, I think, Olaleye and Representative Okere, complaining officially to the Canadian High Commission in Nigeria to say that, look, incitement to hate or threat to intimidate other people or, whatever, is an offense. First under international law, also under Canadian laws, also under Nigerian laws, also under the laws of Ontario, Canada, where I guess this patient, Amaka Sumberger, lives. So it's to be condemned. Incitement to hate of any sort. Again, second point is that we're seeing the abuse of the social media. The social media gives freedom. It's a democratic platform, but a lot of people abuse it. So it's good that the chairperson of the Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Irewa, has spoken up on this to condemn it. And it is good that the House Committee on Diaspora Matters is also speaking up on this. To say that Yoruba people and Benin people should be poisoned with otapia so that they will pay. Nobody should poison Rufai or Ayoya, not even Atigarin from Delta State. So I think these are the basic issues in this regard. But she is arrogant again about her offense. Yes. She has repeated her offense. She says she's a Canadian.
Yes, come on,
so nobody can do anything to her. That nothing will happen to her. She cannot be deported. So you see what people do on social media sometimes. Justify the concerns about the freedom that social media offers.
All right, then, Ayo.
Yeah, just very quickly, I want to refer to that tweet that says that this is an aftermath of what happened during the elections and how we've seen more hate along ethnic lines, division along ethnic lines in Nigeria. And I'm saying that this should be a wake-up call for us to begin to look for a solution to bring people together. Yes. There's so much division. We can no longer hide or bury our heads in the sand. What is the National Orientation Agency doing? What is the Nigerian government doing to ensure? Because people are even crying nepotism, even in appointments. We need to be able to demonstrate to all Nigerians that every single one matters, irrespective of your political affiliation, of whom you voted for, who you supported. We are all Nigerian, and we have to find a way to bring back that unity. It's lacking, and it is sad to see.
Definitely. Well, let's take our last story on what's trending today. The International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, has coordinated a massive crackdown on the notorious Black Axe criminal network, resulting in the arrest of 300 individuals across 20 countries on 5 continents. Operation Jackal number 3, conducted between April and July 2024, targeted the West African syndicate's online financial fraud and cyber-enabled crimes. The operation yielded significant results with the seizure of $3 million in illicit assets and the freezing of over 700 bank accounts. Notably, many Black Axe members are university educated and recruited during their studies. And despite the success of the operation, experts are cautioning that corruption and alleged collusion between Black Axe and local authorities remain significant obstacles in the fight against the network. Now, finally, Interpol called the operation a major blow to the Nigerian crime network, but warned that its international reach and technological sophistication mean it remains a global threat. Now, let's start with Dr. Abati. We have about 2 minutes to go, so our comments will be short.
The Black Axe. Well, when I saw that story talking about Black Axe, I was wondering whether it's the same Black Axe that we know here that is being talked about. We started in the 70s at the University of Benin as a confraternity, Neo-Black Movement, MBM Africa it is called, with commitment to Pan-Africanism, with the motto to promote social equality and equity and all of that. So it will be most unfortunate if this is the same organization that they are talking about. 47 years after, they say Black Axe is a mafia-style gang. They are into fraud. They are into cryptocurrency fraud. $3 million worth of assets have been seized. $1 million worth of crypto assets. I think it will be an embarrassment to the founders of that movement, many of whom rose to the highest levels in this country. But the report was saying these are mostly educated people. Second, it's also disgraceful for Nigeria that despite the fact that we have ICPC, we have, what is the other one called? EFCC, that Nigeria is still being targeted, are still being labeled, and Nigerians are still being arrested, whether it's Shopee or Black Axe, for 419, for internet fraud, for e-wire, wire fraud, they call it. So it's most unfortunate. And this is perhaps why, the Sea Dog confraternity decided to pull out from the university system and have its decks, outside the university system. It was a principled organization at inception. But to hear that the people there today are now into fraud would be most unfortunate. But it may well be another movement that is involved in what Interpol calls Operation Jackal 3.
Yes. Ayo?
Well, the Black Axe in this regard is a West African syndicate, and so it's across West Africa, and they're known for trafficking, prostitution, and of course electronic fraud. What Nigerians popularly call as Yahoo. And if you'd agree with me that this has become a pervasive challenge and for a number of us here in Nigeria. It has soiled the image of the nation in terms of when you go out and people hear, oh, you get one prince from one African country saying he has $100 million to claim. So it's great to hear that we've made inroads into that. But they've said that it's so big that this 300 they've captured might not put such a dent in it. What I'm hopeful is that the 300 would lead to further arrests. Yes. And even more than that, to address the social challenges that make it, that give an incentive to going into these kinds of crime. But great news to hear that they've been apprehended, and hopefully we'll see more arrests.
Rufai, very quickly.
Kudos to Interpol. More intelligence across borders needed. And also, we should also have a societal inquisition into those that back them. Yeah. If they are of political extraction, they should be revealed.
Very, very salient points as usual. Thank you so much for your time and your analysis on what's trending. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you tomorrow.